States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public discussion on the agenda items. Anybody have any questions about the agenda items? Make a motion to approve the Board of Supervisors minutes from the meeting of March 27th, 2019.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Announcement, we did have an executive session after the April 4th meeting, or at April 4th at 2:30 p.m. to discuss resume submissions for the township manager's position.
I'll make a motion to approve the departmental reports.
Second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Motion to ratify the payment of bills and payroll for the month of April.
I'll second it. Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. I'll make a motion for hiring a full-time police officer, Michael Dance, per the terms of the current police CBA agreement.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. I'll make a motion to hire Joshua Coomer as our part-time seasonal help for DB. And as advertised, it's at a rate of $10 per hour, 3 days a week, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. May be required to work some weekends if DB's out of town to open and close the pavilions. The position will be from May 1st through September 27th.
I think we need to talk to him. I think we need to talk to him. He turned the resume in on the instructions that was given out with the application. It
We're going to
doesn't,
discuss
it doesn't say
the
what.
application. Probably should do that in executive session.
Okay,
You want it?
that's the table question.
Okay.
Motion dies for lack of a second. I'll make a motion to approve the Mark West Holding Tank Agreement. Bill, have you reviewed this?
Yeah.
And everything is in order, and
Yeah, there's a resolution in there, we gotta sign.
I assume there was a check, I don't.
Yeah, payments made.
Okay. All right, I'll make that motion to approve the holding tank agreement.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Something like that.
I'll sign it after the meeting. Okay, discussion items. We had talked to Tom about doing an ordinance, amending our ordinance so that on rental properties, the owner of the rental property has to pay for the garbage.
Mhm.
And
I have prepared, and I'll circulate that for you to review in the meantime before advertising it. I have a call into the provider, because there may be some transitional to go with that, so I want to make sure we're okay on effective date-wise before we go ahead and pull the trigger on it. Because most leases, they could be mid-lease and things of that, probably fair to give folks a mechanism for transitioning, so I want to talk to the vendor about how they handle those things.
Okay. And the other thing is
We have pending a property owner petition to rezone a portion of the former Village Green golf course to accommodate a use as a trucking company on the frontage. The petition was submitted to the county for review. Planning Commission has reviewed it, not made a recommendation yet, and we've scheduled, we sent letters out as required to all property owners as of Monday, actually. They should be getting them any day now, because you're required to send a notice out to anybody that touches within 300 feet of any piece of the property. So even though this is kind of Henderson Road frontage, anybody that touches 300 feet of anywhere of that golf course property will get a letter. And in addition to that, we'll advertise twice in the paper for a hearing on the 22nd. And of course, it's a private owner's petition, as they are their right to do. And they will come and present in public hearing and try to make their case as to why they believe you should legislatively do that.
And on the 22nd, is that going to be in the evening?
Yes.
Okay.
I have not taken yet to the newspaper at your pleasure. You can, the public hearing is kind of an esoteric term. It says you could have it, you could have it start simultaneously as your meeting, as almost like the first agenda item. You open and close the hearing and then move on to your meeting. If you wished, you could back up and maybe have that start at 6:30 if you wanted to keep your meeting on a current schedule as is, and I can advertise it for 6:30 if you wish.
Is that all right with you guys? And do that before the meeting rather than concurrent?
Okay.
I would rather do that. Okay. I've got several things. Mickey, since we didn't get any bids on the stone, can you piggyback on the county or something to get your stone whenever we advertise that?
Do co-stores, I think. We should be able to do co-stores. That's one of my questions I wanted to ask you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's available on there, so we can.
All right. Hickory Lions Club is having a dance spring fling at the fire hall this Saturday. They bought 6 flowering dogwood trees for decorations, which they want to donate to the township. They are in burlap, and their students from W&J, they're going to come out and plant them. I was thinking down along the road there where we had those evergreens that all died because of the salt. Do you think we could put some of those down along there?
It might die because of the salt too.
I don't know.
Sure, we'll just have to look
All
around
right.
and find a place.
That thing is Saturday. They're probably going to want to plant them next week while the students are in. I will have them get in touch with Diane, and we'll come up with something. I also want to take this opportunity to thank a few people. One, the Parks and Rec, and anybody that helped with the Easter Bunny Hunt did an excellent job. I have no idea how many kids was. I didn't make it, but I understand there was a lot of kids. The police did an excellent job, even though some of them were in bunny ears, I heard. Was that you, Lou?
Wasn't me.
But thanks everybody to work with that. I'd also like to congratulate Lou and the police department. They applied for a grant for protective shields to put in the police cars with range, and they received $5,473 grant for that. Congratulations. Along those same lines, the fire department, Teddy, the paid guy, he applied for a grant, the same grant with Range Resources, and I don't have the exact amount, but I know it was approximately $3,000 he got. So congratulations to both of those. We need to move and advertise for a public works employee at the end of the month. Doug, I guess he's still done the end of the month. Doug is done, and they're going to be getting ready to tar and chip and pave, and I would like to actually at this point I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and advertise for a public works employee and
I'll second
applications.
that.
The motion's been made and second, that's an addition to the agenda, open it up for any public comments. No public comments. Any questions from the board? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Tom, you and Diane can get, and also, we had a window broke out front of the office. It appears that maybe DB was cutting grass and there was a tennis ball and it smacked and broke it. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve going with Rex Glass to repair that window. Cost us $281.
I second that.
Motion's been made and second. That's another addition to the agenda. Any comments? Any questions from the board? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. That's all the discussion items. Anybody else have any?
I just got one. DB Scott keeps coming to me asking me what he's gonna drive to haul that mower around this summer. Didn't we at one time was gonna get a pickup truck and we didn't get it? Is it?
I thought we,
We was gonna put him in that Explorer. I mean, that's what he used before. The thing that Bill drives around sometimes. He has to go do things.
No, he only gets that on Mondays and Fridays.
no, he can have it, unless Bill needs it. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the mowing he does here, I mean, Bill doesn't take it every day. You know, it's just hit and miss. So,
I think for now,
yeah, I think that's the best thing we have.
that's the
for
best
him.
thing we have for right now.
And the easiest thing to see the back of the trailer with, you know, to use
Really,
one of
yeah.
our other trucks, it's hard to do.
Right. You can't see it.
The trailer's so small behind that dump bed.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
At the risk of your consternation, I have to make a correction. Because of the 30-day requirements, I actually, in the letters, put out to the neighbors that it was a 7 o'clock start.
Oh.
I promise you, it won't last more than 15 minutes. Cut it off. It shouldn't take more than that to go through. I apologize. Secondly, might suggest if you're going into executive session because of the one item that was raised.
Yeah,
you may wish
well,
to
and we have another personnel issue
Yeah.
too.
You may wish to leave the meeting open and adjourn the executive session in case you wish to come out and take action. Otherwise, that's at your pleasure either way.
Okay. Well, we'll do the public discussion. And you don't have anything?
No.
Bill Warnock asked if he could speak. He's I guess we'll call you a historian, Bill?
Amateur.
And he has discovered something that I guess happened in this area or with somebody that was from this area,
Right.
and he wanted to talk about it.
Good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity and time to speak. My name is Bill Warnick and I live near Hookstown, PA, and I'm an amateur historian. I came tonight to tell you about a special resident of Mount Pleasant Township. Brady Paul was born in 1904 and raised in Mount Pleasant Township. In 1926, he enlisted in the Pennsylvania State Police at the Washington County Barracks. He was 25 years old and 6'2" tall. After graduation, he was stationed in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. The morning of December 27, 1929, Corporal Brady Paul and his co-worker Ernie Moore, set up a roadblock just east of Newcastle to find a robbery suspect vehicle, a Chevrolet sedan with Ohio plates. The officers stopped the vehicle being driven by Glenn Degg. Also in the car were Irene Schroeder, her 5-year-old son, and her brother Tom Crawford. When Corporal Brady Paul asked Glenn Degg to step out of the car, Irene Schroeder came around from the passenger side and fired shots at the two officers. That is questionable there, how that really happened. Patrolman Ernie Moore recovered from his injuries. Corporal Brady Paul was pronounced dead upon arrival at Jameson Memorial Hospital in Newcastle. And that statement there is partially wrong. He lived for about an hour and he was taken to Newcastle Hospital. It's now a part of Jameson Hospital, but back then it was two separate hospitals. He was buried in Mount Prospect Cemetery. Glenn Degg and Irene Schrader escaped and fled across the country. They were apprehended 19 days later in a shootout in Arizona and were brought back to Pennsylvania to face murder charges. Both defendants were found guilty and died in an electric chair just 14 months after Corporal Brady Paul's murder. Irene Schrader was the first female to be executed in the electric chair in Pennsylvania. One of the reasons I am particularly interested in the case is because my father, Theodore Warnock, was on the jury that convicted Irene Schrader of her crime. I'm also interested in seeing that history remembers Corporal Brady Paul, a true servant who made the ultimate sacrifice. I am hoping that this community would forever remember the bravery and dedication of one of their own. I had some postscripts here. The police lodge in Butler, Pennsylvania is called the Brady Paul Police Lodge. A stone marker at the site of the roadblock tells of the shooting where Brady Paul's life was taken. However, all that is here in Hickory, Mount Pleasant area, is the marker at his grave. There is also a marker standing outside the main entrance to the Newcastle, Lawrence County Police Station. Dying words of Brady Paul were, kiss mother for me and tell the boys I did my duty, I did my best. And I'd like to introduce you to Claire McCracken, his wife. His wife was real close to this story because she had relatives involved.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Some of you don't know, Joanne and I were residents, born and raised in Lawrence County, Newcastle. And this killing took place before either one of us were born. It was 6 years before I was born, but back in those days, shootings and shooting police didn't take place very often. It's not like it is when you turn the TV on and it's everyday news anymore. But as a kid growing up, I heard a lot about this, and it took place within less than a half a mile from where Joanne was born and raised. And she had an aunt and an uncle who were eyewitnesses to the killing, and they testified at the trial. She also, her grandfather's brother was a witness to it. So the Baldwin family was pretty close to this whole dealing. And her youngest uncle, Leo Baldwin, was involved in that. And I remember it's been several years ago when they used to have some TV programs of police work and killings, and they had an hour program, I think it was. And somewhere in the archives of one of the old Pittsburgh stations, there is this program on TV. That was back before they had color. I know that was in black and white. Schrader and Degg is a common name in Washington County and in Wheeling, and I did business with a lot of folks with that name. I was talking with my son Tom, and he knows Jim Degg, who would be about Tom's age. What's Tom, 50 years old? And Tom asked him if he was related to him, and he says, yes, I am. He's a great nephew. And Tom said he couldn't understand why that family would have been involved. He's a super good family and good citizens. And I didn't know that Brady Paul was a resident of the Hickory area until we moved here in 1965, and some of you may remember Vince Paul. He was involved with the Hickory Telephone Company, and he was a member of the church here. And when he found out that we were from Newcastle, he wanted to know if we knew about his brother Brady, and we said yes, we did. And we visited his grave up here in Mount Prospect Cemetery.
Wow.
So that's the reason we're here this evening, and her uncle and aunt. This happened at Williams Nursery, and her aunt's husband, Bill Williams, owned the nursery, and she was standing in the front window. It was only about, I don't know, 30 yards maybe from where he was shot down. And of course, everybody would be watching. A couple of motorcycle policemen come in to set up a roadblock. They were all there watching.
May I speak again?
Yes.
What I have in mind here, what I read this is a news report from State Representative Jim Marshall, is our state representative up in Beaver County. This last fall, we held a dedication ceremony to unveil a bridge naming signs honoring a local Pennsylvania state trooper who died in the line of duty. The signs officially deemed the bridge carrying State Route 588 over Interstate 376 in Chippewa Township as a Trooper First Class Blake T. Coble Memorial Bridge. Trooper Coble was a member of the Pennsylvania State Police for more than 24 years, and he had been attached to the Brighton Township Barracks for nearly 20 years. On October 4th, 2012, he was critically injured when a tractor trailer failed to stop at a stop sign and struck his patrol vehicle. The bridge was officially named by Act 73 of 2018, which included legislation I authored, this is Jim Marshall authored, in the House of Honor Trooper Coble and his family. Now, if you could get Route 50, what I was thinking about, named the Brady Paul State Highway or whatever, that would, the state pays for these signs. Would be no cost to the township at all. And also this sign here, this gentleman here showed me tonight, that you go through a different part of I can't tell you what the name of the division is, but they would pay for this sign here.
Something like this. That's McDonald that, say, that's McDonald Borough, but that's what we want, something like that.
That's the same kind of sign we have out along Route 50 now. Only that was for George Washington.
Yeah.
Was there?
That's the spot.
I mean, that's something we can, I guess we'd have to take it up with the state representative.
Yeah, and I spoke to,
Jason.
I didn't speak to Jason, but I spoke to one of the employees that worked there. You know, and the gals at Jim Marshall's office, they knew them too. And if he goes along with you, I don't see any problem with.
Yeah, I mean, if
We
we
probably
can
would
get
get
one of
one.
them, since Route 50 is a state road, it would have to go through them.
Oh, yes.
So, I mean, we can reach out to Jason and talk to him, and if we need information, Diane, do you have his phone number?
I do.
Okay. If we need more information, we will see what we can do. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean,
I appreciate your thoughts.
give us some time. We're short a township manager at this point, and poor Diane is swamped. But we will reach out and see what we can do.
Is there any questions about Brady Paul? Or what happened, or?
Thank you, Mr. Warnick.
Glenn Degg, he was from Dallas, West Virginia. You probably, most of you know where that's at.
Yep.
It's just side of Wheeling.
And Irene was from Benwood. Kind of ironic. And it seems to me that I read one time that Glenn was always asking, well, how do you want to go, babe, or hon, or whatever he called her, you know? And she said, well, if I remember correctly, and I hunted for it since then, that she said, well, let's go up there and cross 50 into Pittsburgh. And I thought to myself, they went right past Mount Prospect Cemetery, where 4 days later,
Yeah.
one of their dirty deeds was,
It's right along the road. I'm
Yeah.
right in there. In the cemetery.
All right, thank you. Any other public discussion? Bill?
I just got a question. I'm not on your list as a planning commission member. Why did you decide to have this a public thing instead of going in front of the zoning hearing board
For what?
for the golf course issue?
Because that's a.
We didn't decide anything. The owner of the property, under the law, you're allowed, and actually, it would not be appropriate actually to go to, I don't believe, the zoning hearing board. Frankly, if they had gone to the zoning hearing board and asked for a variance, the township might take a position against that because it's not appropriate in the zoning district. They're asking, anybody could, you can ask for a petition to rezone a parcel or parcels of land. And they actually, there's a procedure in the MPC for it, so you have to actually go through, it's a legislative thing. It's not a kind of, the zoning board's kind of a judicial thing. They grant, leniency on certain things. This is a request to actually change the zoning
Correct.
map and tweak it to basically increase the frontage there to accommodate that business.
It's got to be more or less an ordinance.
Because a
Yeah,
map
once it's-
amendment's basically a zoning ordinance amendment. So you have to go through the whole
So then you have to go
commission,
through
county
public
comment,
hearing.
public hearing and all that. And under the procedures, because there are times, say, in this township or another, where either because you're doing planning, a commission, or otherwise you want to do a rezoning like we recently did or target an area. But if it's in a private party's interest and they wish to pursue that, there's actually a procedure by which, and we're following it here, where they have to we'll take the application and vet it, and they can decide on it with all the comments taken into account, one way or the other, just like any other law. But they have to reimburse us actually for the costs that we're going through to do it, because it's their private interest they're bringing forward. So it's actually better for the community that if they want this, they do it, so to speak, on their dime to make that petition. So, yeah, that's why it has to be done.
Lou?
Just to remind everybody that the drug take back is this Saturday from 10 to 2 here at the township building. Anybody has any unused, unneeded, expired prescription, non-prescription medications, they can drop them off here. We'll get rid of them for you.
Anybody else?
Where's that meeting gonna be?
Right here.
Okay, we won't adjourn. We will, I'll make a motion, we go into executive session for personnel issues. And we may come back and make a motion
Or just come back and adjourn.
or just come back and adjourn. For a second?
Yep.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no? We will go in Diane.